Hi there. Hi, everybody. Good morning. Hi, JC. Good to see you. Hi, Susan. Okay, there. My monitor wasn't on, so I didn't know if I was live. But anyway, well, this morning I woke up and I just felt happy to be alive. Isn't that just wonderful? Just happy to be alive for no other reason. And I think that's just amazing. And it's a Leo full moon for all our astrology people. And so this is the part of our consciousness that wants to express itself as light in the world. It wants to express itself as your unique creative expression. So are you a space for the fullness of God to manifest itself through you and all that you are and in all that you do? That's what this day is about, because in the teaching of astrology, you are the sun. You are the light of the world. So today we want to be led by spirit. Let the spirit lead us and celebrate. This is also the last day of the Lunar New Year celebration. So it's a really auspicious day for us and a day to be happy. Yeah. So this is a great lesson, as they all are. But this one, I love this one because it really makes you think about the stages and states of consciousness that you find yourself in. And then you have to come to terms with, well, if I am a stream, not if, since I am a stream of divine consciousness, that's what I am. Just like the sunbeam to the sun, I am a stream of divine consciousness. I am an emanation of everything that God is. So my consciousness in truth is whole, perfect, and complete. And then in my forgetfulness, I overlay my consciousness with stinking thinking, right? So I get all wrapped up about my past, and I haven't let go of resentments and all the things that the universe mirrors back to me, is letting me know what I have overlaid on my beautiful divine consciousness. So we're going to talk about that today as we go deeper into our lesson. But I wanted to share something really amazing with you all, and Jamie will put it up. Oh, you can't
find
the thing?
page. Can I see your computer for a minute?
Oh.
Do you have it?
No, actually, it's on my phone. Maybe Jackie could get it. My phone. Anyway, so I wanted to share this with you because it's pretty interesting. Okay, Jamie's going to go and get it. We thought we could call it up on the computer, but I did take a screenshot of it, which I'm really glad I did, because I thought I just have to share this with everyone. But before I get into it, what I'd like to suggest for everyone is that you keep a dream journal, okay? And a journal or a piece of paper, something beside you when you go into your meditation or contemplation or your reflections, and write down different things that come into your third eye, because it's the spirit trying to get your attention. And your dreams they're probably really crazy right now anyway, but they'll become more vivid as Saturn moves into Pisces. So Pisces rules the mansion of our consciousness, that is your imagination. And it's the subconscious, it's everything in your mind. So you want to keep a dream journal, and every day when you get up, and in fact, before you go to sleep, say, I choose to remember my dream. I choose to remember my dream. And then when you get up in the morning, or, sometimes you get up in the night to use the bathroom, whatever, and you think, oh, and you have this memory, write it down, because it's the spirit trying to get your attention for something, okay? So let me just share this with you. Last Sunday, after A Course in Miracles, of course, we had our lunch and whatnot, and then I felt like I just wanted to go and spend some meditative time, some contemplation, and so I laid back on my bed and I put an eye mask on to block out that light so I could just see, complete darkness. And I was laying there just breathing and relaxing, and out of the blue, it shocked me to the point where I sat up, honest to goodness. The inside of my mind went completely black, like the blackest blackboard you could ever imagine. And written on this blackboard in bold white letters, so those white letters just popped off that blackboard was a name and a date. So the name was H. Hubin. H. Hubin. And underneath it said 1904. Bam! In my mind. So I said, what? I sat up and I thought, well, that's interesting. I wonder who this person is. Why is this in my mind? And I'm like Sherlock. So I like to investigate. I'm very curious. Anyway, I got wrapped up doing something else. And as the day went on, I said to Jamie a little bit later, the weirdest thing. I said, listen to this. And I told her about this name coming into my mind. And she said, well, Mom, did you Google it? And I said, I didn't. Maybe I should Google it. So I did. I Googled it. And right there on the very first name that came up was, did you find it, Jane? Okay, she's going to put it up there. So the name came up, H. Hubin, and the date was, I can't remember here. Okay, almost ready. Anyway, the date of his birth was there, and then 1904. And I was just blown away. So then I read down below his name, and there was a message that said that his name was Heinrich Hubin, that he lived from this date to 1904, but then it said he lived 564 or 46 years, 13 days and whatever. And what shocked me about that is that obviously it was a typo, but the universe doesn't make mistakes, right? Why was I seeing that? Now, if you were with me last week, we were talking about living to be 120 years old or more. Moses had started, there it is. Okay, you can see it. So it says, what was that date? How many years he lived?
542
Yeah.
years old.
So he lived to be 542. I think it was a typo because the date of his birth and the death that he died was 1904. So I see this H. Hubin, 1904. And then when I Google it, this information comes out. And he had passed away in 1904, but it also says that he lived to be over 500 years old, which shocked me because remember, Susan, last week we were talking about living, in the Bible, there's so many there it is. Yeah. So many stories about, the people living to be ripe old ages, but we were not meant to live anything less than 120 years. I mean, if you think of God in the Platonic solids as the dodecahedron, which is the number 12, that's exactly what, we would be, 120. Drop the zero and it's 12. So I thought that was so interesting, but there's more to the story. So I'm thinking, okay, the universe is trying to get my attention for something. Okay, so then I thought, well, I'm going to start a new club. It's called the 120 Club. That means if you want to join this club of living to be 120 years old, you have to give up all death urges, all death thoughts. You have to give up anti-life thoughts. Now, listen, a lot of people say, I want off the planet. It's a miserable planet. It is a mess here. And no. When you wake up and you become self-realized and you've purified your consciousness, then you are a humble servant of the Lord and you will be used as an instrument for God for as long as that will be. And so why wouldn't you want to be here, right? So everybody thinks like, I want to get off the planet. And if you want to get off the planet, there's work to be done. If you want to get out of here, it's because you're still holding guilt in your consciousness. Because if you didn't have any guilt in your consciousness, the whole world would be a place of rest and relaxation. It would be a playground. And you would be the instrument for God. God would be using you as a communication device to demonstrate that there is only one power, and that one power is health and abundance and peace and joy, and you're demonstrating that to the whole sonship. So you want to join the 120 Club? Give up all death thoughts, anti-life thoughts. We have to let them go. We have to give up thoughts of disease and illness and guilt. We have to let all that go so that we can be the servants of the Lord for as long as we want. But why not live to be 120? Don't even think about retiring. The soul did not come here to retire. The soul did not come here to retire. The soul came here to be the fullest manifestation of everything that God is in every single moment. So when that message came through, what do you think, guys? What do you think the universe was saying, right? No accidents, no accidents. So anyway, I told my friend about this, and she being, Sherlock, and I guess I'm Watson, or one of the two, it doesn't matter, but very curious, did some digging and found that this person, Ulrich Hubin, the family, it's obviously German, and my grandmother is German. That's kind of interesting. And they migrated to Spain, a place called Galicia. And from Spain, they made their way to Kansas and I think Connecticut, something like that. But anyway, here's the thing. They wrote a book. This family, the Hubin family, has a book. And I forget the name of it. I ordered it because I think there might be something in it. The thing about this is they were Mennonites. And Mennonites started communities. They were like-minded people coming together in a community. So I'm thinking, well, there must be really interesting things for me to know about putting a community together, what that looks like. We had gone to Findhorn in Scotland a few years ago, beautiful place. And I read the book about Findhorn as well, how it got started and how the people joined the community and whatnot. So here comes another bit of information, but it came through this H. Hubin, right? In this moment of, it was probably 10, 15 minutes into my meditation that this came. And that's why I'm telling you, keep a dream journal. Keep it beside you because there's always information, things that you need to know, things that the Spirit, God is always calling you home. But are you listening? God is always calling us home. But we're always distracted, busy doing something else. But when you do find yourself in that quiet, contemplative moment, those meditative, reflective moments, keep something close by because when an image, a color, a word, anything comes to you, write it down because there's something to that. And especially, listen, if you're looking, a lot of people say, I don't know what my purpose is. Well, your ultimate purpose is to forgive the dream. That we know. But a lot of people wonder, I want to do something in the world. I feel like there's something I want to give or something I want to do. And I always say, ask the divine, ask the Spirit how it sees itself in your life. That's a really good thing. Not what you want, but just to be open and to say to Spirit, how do you see yourself in my life? What is it that you would like to do through me and that I might serve the greater good? And again, you will be given images and words and colors and shapes, all different kinds of things that if you keep this journal by you, then ultimately you can figure it out. Actually, what will happen is that it will be revealed from within you. You didn't ask anybody outside of you. You didn't go, seeking. You went in and you asked the Spirit to show itself in your life. And it will. And suddenly, bam, you will be given a hit to know what your next mode of action, what you need to do, what you need to say, where you need to go. It will all be revealed, and that's really exciting. So, are you open? Are you a space for the fullness of God to manifest itself in you, through you, as you, for the greater good of the sonship, right? So that's why, waking up this morning feeling totally happy, totally excited. And, Jamie and I don't talk about what we're going to do, but I just thought that was really cute when you sang It's a Wonderful World. What a wonderful world, and that's exactly how I felt when I woke up. And the other thing that came to me is that, hallelujah, praise God, there's nothing to be healed. There's only truth to be revealed. There's only truth to be revealed. That's it. I mean, at the end of the day, we can say, oh, I have to heal this and I have to heal that. And there's so many things in my consciousness that I need to heal. And then, it becomes overwhelming because people that carry a lot of guilt, a lot of sadness, whatever it is, whatever form that guilt takes, can say, oh, it's just so overwhelming. I have so many things wrong with me. And the message comes to me today, there's nothing to be healed. There's only truth to be revealed, because that truth is the power, the love, the light, the goodness, the grace of God. And we do not live under the law of cause and effect. When you know that, when you know who you are as a divine emanation of everything that God is, you live under the law of divine grace. And isn't that beautiful? It's grace. And grace just goes with you wherever you are. And grace is always with you. But when you believe in the power of fear, and I did this because fear really has no power. It's when you believe in fear and you believe in the ego, now you feel that everything in this world of form has power over you. And then what you end up doing is defending against it, right? And you just have to know that if you're walking around with armor on, if you're walking around with a shield and a sword, then you have a lot of fear in your consciousness. You have a lot of guilt in your consciousness. And the main guilt is that you actually believe that you could separate from your divine source. Not possible. You can't snap a sunbeam off from the sun now, can you? You are a stream of divine consciousness. You are a stream of love light. And then, I love what Sai Baba said. He said, I'm God learning about God in the world of duality. Right? So anything that's happened to you happened for your highest good. Didn't you learn a lot of things through your pain and suffering? I know I did. Didn't you learn, like when you got pushed into a corner and finally you dropped on your knees and it was like, oh my God, help me. And God said, hey, there's nothing to heal. There's only truth to be revealed. You are my beloved in whom I am well pleased. You are my beloved son in whom I am well pleased. And you wake up and you stand in that gorgeous frequency of divine grace that has never left you. It's just that you started to believe in the power of fear. You started to believe in the ego, the dictates, and, the rest is history. You become a mess. So that's what I wanted to start with. And then I wanted to talk about this a little bit before we unpack our lesson. So number one, we have to start every day. Every day you have to start with loyalty to your higher self. I am loyal to God. That's what we start with. That is the premise. You get out of bed and you say, I am a stream of divine consciousness. I am created as and in the image and likeness of God. I am made out of pure God substance. That's what makes me, my pure, gorgeous consciousness. Okay. Then you say, God is looking at me and God is saying, this is my beloved Dehyana, in whom I am well pleased. This is my beloved Susan, in whom I am well pleased, right? These are my beloveds in whom I am well pleased. So you own that, guys. We have to own that. Remember, your body is a moving temple for the spirit to live, move, and have its being within. It's a beautiful communication device. It's for you to see the glory of God in the world of form. And that's a blessing to behold, right? Okay, so then, here's the question. as I'm waking up and I'm thinking, oh, I'm so happy to be alive today and all this and that, and what would you have me say? And bam, bam, bam. The message is here, your first question. Do you believe that you are the fullness of God made manifest? Do you? And listen, if you really believe it, you will demonstrate that God lives in you. That's how you know what you believe, by what you're demonstrating. That's why Jesus says in the Course in Miracles, it's not what you think you believe. It's what you're showing the world. That's what you believe. Okay? So ask yourself, really go deep with it. Do I believe that I am the fullness of God made manifest? Right? Tell yourself, God is everything. God is everything. And I am, you see, if I believe that I am created in the image and likeness of God, and if I believe that I am a stream of divine consciousness, then I am everything too. The only difference between me and God is just like one little degree. God made me. I didn't make myself. That's the only difference. But I have the same power in me that my Father in heaven has. And all of that has been bestowed upon me because I am an emanation of God substance in this body temple. And I'm just moving around. And does it mean I won't have challenges in my life? Nope. Because life is full of experiences to move you closer to your God self. So you will have all kinds of experiences. You will always have things coming at you, and they're coming at you so you can choose one power. God is the only power. That's it. There's not two powers. The problem is you think there's two powers. You think there's power in this world, that this world can have power over you. And it's only because you're living at the level of cause and effect. But once you get back into the garden, into the peaceful place, into this space of fullness, because you're standing with everything God, then you are only under the law of grace. You are under this beauteous, gorgeous love light, which is divine grace. Okay? So, God is everything. So you tell yourself every morning, I am a stream of divine consciousness. I am loyal to my Father in heaven. God is everything. And because I am the beloved of my Father, it is my divine inheritance. By law, it is a divine inheritance that I use this beautiful power that God has given me to manifest the fullness of God in everything I am and in everything I do. How powerful. That just feels, right there. Even as I say it, it has a vibratory frequency that makes me feel really excited because deep down in our soul, we know that there's only one power. You know that in your soul. And the soul wants you to express that. There is only one power, God. And you are the son of the Father, so that power is in you too. All right. Are you a space for God to fulfill itself? We got to, really know that. You stand in front of your vanity in the morning, or maybe you're brushing your teeth and say to yourself, am I a space where God can fulfill itself in me today? Am I open? Like, you have to choose love. You have to choose to be available. Love is a choice I must make, right? If I don't, then I'm over here in nothingness, okay? So we think about this, and I was looking at Sai Baba last night. I have this beautiful picture of Sai Baba in my sewing room. Anyway, I was in there ironing, and Baba's picture's on the altar in there. And I could hear him say, God is omnipotent, all-powerful. So listen, if you're part of God, then what does that mean for you? You are all powerful too. There's one power, God. And you are a stream of that power. Then Baba said, God is omniscient. And that means so are you. When you are identified as the Spirit of God in you, when you are identified with the Christ consciousness, you are omniscient, all-knowing. How is it then that I laid back and that name came into my mind? H. Hubin, 1904, lived to be 542 years. Huh? My soul, my spirit is all-knowing. My spirit is omniscient. And so when I'm at one with my spirit, then everything I need to know will come to me. Everything I need will be there for me as I need it. Because the universe that created me, that is omniscient and omnipotent, knows everything that I need when I need it. And if I can just relax and be a space where God can fulfill itself through me, in me, as me, then I will never go without. I can lack nothing. Sickness wouldn't even be part of my dream. Lack and loss and scarcity and fear would not be a part of my dream, because I am a divine stream of pure awareness, having this physical experience. Okay, so Baba said, yes, 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 God is omnipotent, all powerful, and you are a stream of that power. And then he said, God is omniscient, all knowing, and you are a stream of that omniscience. And then he said, God is omnipresent, omnipresent, everywhere at all times, everywhere. And God is in my mind. When God is in my mind, God is in everything I see. We get that lesson in the early lessons in the Course in Miracles. God is in everything I see because God is in my mind, because God is omnipresent. It's in everything. So when you are in alignment with this gorgeous everything God, then you look into the world and you see beauty. You behold the beauty of God. You behold the glory, because the glory is in your mind. And you are all powerful. And you're not saying there's two powers. There's the power of fear over me. No, you are saying there is only one power, and that power is omnipotent. It's omnipotent. My God gave it to me because I am the beloved of my Father. And he created me in his own image and likeness. And then, guys, you look in the mirror. What is the image and likeness you created yourself in? Not create. You made it. What is the image and likeness that you made of yourself? Hold up the mirror and tell the truth about what you've been telling yourself. You've been saying really not good things, right? I can't do it. I'm sick. I'm aging. I'm old. I'm tired. My bones hurt. I got achy muscles. I'm this. I'm that. I'm fed up. I'm depressed. I'm anxious. I'm hungry. I'm tired. Can you hear that? Oh my goodness. That is the image and likeness that you made of yourself. You made it because you are claiming something that is not true because you believe it, and you have to have the special separate self, the separate I. Then guess what? You get to have what you say. Oh no. That's how powerful you are. That's how powerful I am. I get to have what I say. But today I say I am a divine stream of consciousness. I am the sunbeam to the sun. I am a space for the fullness of God to manifest itself in my life. And if I'm not clear about what I want or where I want to go, I just sit back and I say to my higher self, how do you see yourself in my life today? How do you see yourself expressing? What do you want to say through me today, Spirit? I am open. Because of myself, I can do nothing. Because the self that I made is a fake self. It's a made-up self. It's a non-existent self that I, in my ignorance, believe is me. And once I believe it's me, I got a problem. And my problem is separation from God. Never, ever happened. But because I believe it did, now I have a problem. And in that problem, I am filled with, I'm a sinner. That's the first thing we're told. You sinned. The original sin, the belief in separation from God. And when I believe I'm a sinner, now I am full of guilt because I have separated in my mind. I believe I've separated from God. And now I'm a sinner. And now I'm full of guilt. And I'm really afraid that God's going to come after me because, oh my God, how could I do such a thing, right? So I believe, I made up a story. I believe that God's going to come after me. And so and then when I believe that because of the guilt, I manifest it in the world. And how do I do that? Through you. I need a scapegoat to throw my guilt onto. I don't want to go in and look at, remember last week, all the things in my consciousness that I've overlaid over my pure consciousness. I've overlaid anger, guilt, fear, resentment, all my past beliefs and present beliefs. I've overlaid that onto my pure consciousness. And I don't want to look at that because the ego has told me that if you go in and look at that, that's not going to be a good thing. So I avoid looking at my own stuff. And to feel like I'm innocent, I need to find somebody to throw my guilt onto. So I throw it out. I project it. And the whole world then mirrors my guilt. Okay? But because I can never get rid of guilt unless I root it out of my own consciousness, remember, I got to pull the beam out of my own eye. If I don't pull it out of my own eye and I throw it onto you, it didn't go away. It's still there. It is still there. So now I'm walking around under the law of cause and effect. Okay? Now that's a problem. So what do I end up doing? I start looking for punishment. That's why now I need to defend myself because guilt seeks punishment. When you feel guilty and you're not conscious of the guilt, people will show up to victimize you, to make you feel really not good. And what they're doing is playing the role for you to see that you are holding guilt, that you have projected the guilt, and they played that part for you. And so now you forgive it or you give it forth. You give forth from as a pure emanation of God consciousness that you've overlaid with all of these attack thoughts and judgments and beliefs, concepts, whatever. You start to give them forth. You look at them and you say, this is not true because it's finite. This can't be real because it's not eternal. What am I doing entertaining a finite concept? What am I doing entertaining something that is not eternal? Darn. Ooh, I woke up. And then you say to your higher self, help me to see this differently. And your higher self will say, don't you know who you are? You are a stream of divine consciousness. And you forgot. And in your forgetfulness, you made up a story. I mean, the whole thing. I forgot. I made up a story. I am something other than what God made. I'm dancing over here in the dark. I'm in the world of nothingness. I'm living under the dictates of the ego and on and on and on. And the Holy Spirit will help you to see it differently. And she'll say, the only problem that you have is body identification. You have identified as a body. You have identified as a ego. And that's the only problem you have. So the error is a mistaken identity. And so she corrects the error in your mind, a mistaken identity. And then you get with her, with the spirit, and you begin to see things differently. Your perception shifts because now you are back in alignment with your divine consciousness. And now you have forgiven the dream. Okay, so this is an ongoing process that we do constantly. And I love Sai Baba, when he said, I separated myself from myself so I could know myself. Because listen, when you are in the garden, let's go back to the story of Adam and Eve in the garden. So Adam and Eve in the garden represents pure love consciousness. It's a place where you didn't need anything. Everything you ever thought you needed, you had, it was available, it was all there, but you were not conscious of that. You were not conscious of that. All right? You and God are one. Just like this morning when I said, you are a stream of beautiful divine consciousness. You and God are one. You are the beloved of your Father. You and God are one. But if you are not conscious of that, then something else is going to go on. You will then be outside of that, and you will be in a space of nothingness, which is the ego's domain. You will be in the world of duality. So, in order for you to know yourself as God, you had to have the experience of not God. How's that working for you? So there's no need to get your knickers in a twist. There's no need to beat yourself up. There's no need to be full of shame and say, I'm so evil. How could I have done that? No. Say, wow, thank you. Thank you. Because if that didn't happen in my life, I wouldn't be here awake. I am God having the experience of not God so I can know myself as God. It kind of is a full circle moment. You're in the Garden of Eden. And what happened? Adam bit, Eve bit of the tree of good and evil, which is the tree of duality. And by eating the fruit from the tree of duality, you got to see that if you live under the law of cause and effect, you're believing in two powers, not one. Effects have no power over you because they come from the world of illusion. Effects have no power over you unless you believe that you are not what God made, okay? But once you get, okay, I am God having an experience of not God, and in that experience, oh my God, I am so afraid of the effects. Everything in the world of form, I fear. But fear teaches me or helps me to get closer to love. Have you ever been so sick and tired of being sick and tired that you go, okay, enough. There's got to be a better way. There's just got to be a better way. And you wake up and you go, I'm going to choose something different. And I'm going to choose forgiveness. I'm going to choose right-mindedness. I'm going to choose right speech. I'm going to choose right livelihood. I mean, I love the religions. You can use the beautiful Eightfold Path in our Buddhism with all the wonderful teachings. There's so many teachings in all the different religions. You can use these to help you get back into alignment with your pure divine consciousness. So when we bit the so-called apple of duality, of good and evil, it served. Because after having the experience of duality, we decided, okay, let me get back into the garden because God is here, right now. And everything I need, I have now. Everything. And so instead of praying for something to come to me like, oh, dear God, please make me healthy, the prayer becomes, thank you for the health that you have bestowed upon me. Thank you for the grace that I am surrounded in. Thank you for the goodness that streams into my life every day through my eyes, my hands. Thank you for all the goodness. The prayer becomes gratitude. You become this divine servant of the Lord, praising God and being grateful, thankful for absolutely everything. And as you stay in this frequency, suddenly your headache goes away. Suddenly the cancer disappears. Suddenly everything you need comes to you. So we stop praying for these, what are they called? What's that? Desires. Help me do this. Help me do that. Help me. Specifics. Yeah, thanks, Jane. Instead of praying for specifics, we pray with a grateful heart. So I am God, having an experience of not God in order to know myself as God. Does that make sense? And this is one of the teachings of Sai Baba too. I separated myself from myself so I could love myself, so I could know myself. And what is yourself? Pure love light consciousness. Pure love light consciousness. A stream of divine consciousness direct from the Father. It's so beautiful. So start your day every day this week with loyalty to God, loyalty to the one power. That one power shall overcometh all things if you are aligned with it. So that's pretty amazing, right? All right. So let's talk about our lesson, which is lesson 135. Lesson 135. It says, if I defend myself, I am attacked. Okay. All right. Well, the ego has its ploy for your life. And the ploy of the ego is to establish that sin and guilt are real. It wants to establish that as a truth. And that you never wake up and realize that it's an untruth. So that's the first thing it does. It tells you right away that you're a guilty sinner. You deserve punishment. You deserve what you get in life. You did it. It's your fault. That's what it's doing with your life. Okay? So we want to look at that. And then, of course, that's where our defenses come from. I love this line from chapter 10. Actually, it's a little paragraph. And it says, all attack is self-attack. Okay? So the self is with a capital S. So when you attack anyone or anybody, what you're actually doing is attacking you. You are never attacking another person. You are always, well, you know what I'm saying. You're attacking yourself. The minute you put something out there, the minute you project a fear, the minute you go outside of yourself and make someone wrong or bad or feel stupid or you hurt their heart, all attack is self-attack. It cannot be anything else. Cannot. Arising from your own decision not to be what you are. Everything we just talked about. You have decided not to be a divine stream of pure consciousness. You have decided against that. That's what happened, okay? That arose from your decision not to be what you are. It is an attack on your identification. You are everything that God made. You are the holy power and grace of everything God, a divine emanation of everything God. And you have decided to be something else other than what God declared. You have attacked your own identification. Attack is thus the way in which your identification is lost. So the minute you someone else, then you are over here dancing in darkness. Your identification is lost. You must have forgotten what you are. See, it's a process of remembering and forgetting and remembering and forgetting, remembering and forgetting, until one day you wake up and you remember all the time, and that's called self-realization. You have purified your consciousness. Actually, your consciousness is already pure. You are a stream of divine consciousness, but you have overlaid that stream of divine consciousness with all of these concepts, beliefs, untruths, judgments, whatever, right? So you must have forgotten what you are. Who would defend himself unless he thought he were attacked? Nobody. You would not walk around with armor on. You would not walk around with a shield and a sword if you didn't feel like someone was out there to get you. You just wouldn't. You'd be open, you'd be confident, you would be clear, happy, joyous. You wouldn't be on the defensive. When you find yourself on the defensive, you are protecting guilt. When you defend a position, you are protecting guilt because you're too afraid to go in and look at it. Jesus tells us you have to look at your darkness. Do not dwell, but you have to look at it. And look at it with me. Look at it with your higher power. But you have to look at it because if you don't, it's suppressed. And now it seems to have power over you. That is what I meant when I said living under the law of cause and effect. Whatever you suppress and you don't look at, now you're at the, you're stuck in that cause and effect loop. Okay. And you'll always feel like, why do those people have grace and I don't have any? You do. You're always surrounded in grace, but you left the garden. So unless you thought you were attacked and that the attack were real. So see, this is why the ego wants to establish first thing that guilt and sin, they're real. So when you're rooted in that I'm a guilty sinner, I'm full of shame, I'll never get out of this, I'm looping around in this stinking thinking, the ego has done a good job and made you believe that that's what's true. Not that you are what God made, it's telling you that you're a guilty sinner. And you're rooted in that fear. And you believe that the attack, when someone comes at you, you believe that it's real. And that his own defense could save him. So it's like, think of all the times when somebody says something to you and you take it personally and you're very defensive and your tone is defensive. Your stance is defensive, right? Just look at those. And this is something that we really have to come to terms with now. You have to really decide that you want to see. You want to look at the darkness in you. I want to see it. Bring it on. Because it's like sediment. A glass of water, if you put muck in it, right, Susan? We have that glass of water and there's muck at the bottom. Or let's put it in a bottle of water with a lid on it. So you have this bottle of water and at the bottom of it is mud, okay? And you're operating, let's say, you are the container and the water, your consciousness, all the levels and stages of your consciousness, and at the very bottom is all this mud, and you are operating out of this clear part of the bottle, the water that's clear. And someone comes along, it's like the bottle got shook, and the muck comes up, and you're like panicked because, oh my God, you got to defend yourself now because all of this stuff is coming up from your unconscious that you believe is so nasty and so unforgivable, you have to take a defensive stance. And so, but if, this is the other part to this, in that bottle of water with that sediment at the bottom, you can be so in denial, floating around in this clear water, thinking you're all that, you got it all going on, you've got it all figured out, your life is good, everything is wonderful, money in the bank, kids are good, healthy, da-da-da-da-da, and someone comes along and says something to you and you're angry for days, you can't eat, you're fed up, you're tired, you end up getting depressed. It's like the bottle got shook and the muck came up, and instead of healing it or dealing with it, you push it back down. You wait till it settles. And now the muck goes back down. And you're back here in this clear water with the muck. Okay? Well, it's that muck in you that's causing cancer. It's that muck in you that's causing whatever illness you're facing. Psychological illness, mental illness, physical illnesses of all kinds. It's coming from the muck. So you want that muck up. You want that stuff to come up so that you can give it up. You can give it forth. That's what forgiveness is. When someone rocks your world, don't defend. Don't go into a defensive stance because you are, what you're actually saying is, oh my God, I'm so vulnerable here. I am so vulnerable. I am weak. And remember, we already told you, God told us, no, you're omnipotent. I am omnipotent and you are my beloved. So you are all powerful too. What are you doing? Right? So welcome everything that comes to you. Life brings you what you need to pull the sediment, to get rid of the sediment in your consciousness. And as we drew those chakras, these are, stages and states of consciousness. And in that root chakra, those bottom 3 chakras, right? You could almost say that down there in the root chakra is all that muck. And it's solid, man. That chakra is earth, stone. It's hard. It's a solid square. And that's where it's your box. And all your beliefs and concepts, everything's in there. So, we want it to come up. And, all right. So then I don't know what chapter this is from, guys. I didn't write it down. Like I told you, I have notes and files of all these wonderful things that, I've read the Course in Miracles for 30 years or something, whatever, it doesn't matter. But I always kept my notes, right? And sometimes I didn't write where I got it from, what chapter. So here's one I wrote. I don't know what chapter. Anyway, it says, anger always involves projection of separation. So that's what we're really angry at. It's like, oh, I separated from God. Okay, which must ultimately be accepted as one's own responsibility rather than being blamed on others. And that just means like, you're the reason I'm mad. You're the reason I'm sad. You're the reason I'm depressed. No, I'm being moved from my center because I'm angry for having left God in the first place and feeling like God's going to punish me. And I need to get rid of that feeling. So you're going to be responsible for everything I feel. Anger cannot occur unless you believe that you've been attacked. Right? And remember, the ego has already established that you're a guilty sinner. You're full of guilt. You're full of sin. You deserve punishment. Okay? And so we're being told here that anger cannot occur. So all you angry people out there, everybody who has anger issues, either passive anger or, throwing it onto other people. It cannot occur unless you believe that you've been attacked. That your attack is justified in return. And that you are in no way responsible for it. See how tricky the ego is? Oh yeah. But you cannot be attacked. There is only one power. You are a stream of divine power. There's not 2 powers. If you are being made angry by something outside of you, then what you're saying is there's 2 powers, that the power of anger is now upon me. So now you're at the mercy of cause and effect. But if I align and say God is the only power, and I recognize that this perceived attack on me is only a projection of what I believed, but I'm not believing that now because I know that I am the power of God right here, right now. And I am a space for the fullness of God to manifest itself in me right here, right now. And so I see that now as a call for love. It has no power over me because God is the only power and I am the beloved of my Father. It's so amazing. All right. Attack has no justification because attack in and of itself is not real, just as anger is not real. Why are you defending unreality? It's like punching air, right? Jamie said it's a good workout, right? It's like, it's silly. We're so silly, but we're waking up. We're getting it. All right. And you are responsible for what you believe. Bam, there it is. What do you believe about yourself? Do you believe that you are a space of God consciousness? Do you believe that you are the omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent, everything God right here, right now? And if you don't, then you are responsible for what you think and believe. So what are you believing about yourself? You believe you're unworthy? You're going to be attacked. And how's that going to show up? You're going to feel that person showed up and made you feel dumb. No, they didn't. You don't feel worthy, and you got to see that outside of yourself because you projected your unworthiness. You will always see in other people who you're being in consciousness. Whoa. Okay, so everybody that's in a marriage that is going, If I see it, it's in my consciousness. If I'm reacting to it, it's in my consciousness. And so everybody goes, oh my God, I've been calling that person crazy. You mean I'm crazy? You're crazy without God. You are insane without God. You are powerless without God, giving all your power to things outside of you. All right. And then we go on in the lesson. It says, and herein lies the folly of defense. It gives illusions full reality and then attempts to handle them as real. So it's like, okay, so now you've defended. Someone showed up and said something to you. You're all angered. You're ticked off. You're fed up. You're going to write them out of your life, right? Okay, you're defending something. What are you defending? You've just attacked that person because you're defending your position. Okay, now what you've done is says it gives, which is an illusion, but you give it full reality. You did that. You made it real. Uh-oh. And then you attempt to handle this thing that you made real as real. Okay, what does that look like? Well, let's say you had a friend and this friend, you found out that this friend gossiped behind your back and you were so upset. Okay, oops, upset. I'm defending my own gossiper. I'm defending where I speak out of both sides of my mouth. I'm defending something in me. But I don't know that. So I'm over here making this real. Okay, my friend gossiped about me. I don't want that friend in my life anyway. She's not a friend or she wouldn't gossip about me. Defense, defense, defense. I'm making it real. I'm making it real. And the ego's going, yeah, oh yeah. We are establishing this truth that sin and guilt is real. And so now, how do you deal with this unreality in the world of duality? You cut her out of your life. Uh-oh. But you didn't cut her out of your consciousness. You didn't get it out of your consciousness. You pushed it down, and now it's in that sediment. It's in that muck. And you don't know that you did that. But the beautiful planet Saturn, who works with your root chakra, will bring you lessons over and over and over and over again. He will turn you into shiny granite because you're going to get you're like that volcanic rock. You know, we talk about that in marriage. Two people married, they're like volcanic rock rubbing up against each other until they become shiny granite. Well, you're this volcanic rock come rubbing up against all the guilt that you're trying to, defend against until it doesn't work, but it just wears you down until finally you're shiny granite. So that's such a great line. All right, so it adds illusions to illusions. So you come up with a scheme, a plan, how I'm going to operate in my life without this person, how I'm going to quit my job and make my boss wrong and bad, and how I'm going to steal something from him because he made me work overtime. Where was my mouth? Why couldn't I speak up and say what it is I need? No one makes you do anything unless you give them your power. Right? And so on and on and on. So it adds illusions to illusions, making correction doubly difficult. And where is the correction needing to take place? In your mind. The correction must take place in your mind. I have to first see it. If this is showing up and I'm defending against it, or I'm trying to protect myself, whatever I'm doing, it's here. Because my mind has been telling me that I am not what God made. And as that, I go out into the world of time and space, protecting myself against government, people, animals. I mean, look at St. Francis. Birds landed on his finger. I mean, come on. When you are completely innocent, there's no threat. Nothing. All right. So then, if you try to correct this story outside your mind, you are dancing in darkness. You are playing with duality, playing with an illusion. It is a world of nothingness. But if you correct it in your mind by rooting out the source, then, okay, good on you, right? Okay, so then, and it is this you do when you attempt to plan the future, activate the past, or organize the present as you wish. Okay. Now, it's not that you shouldn't plan the future and do all that, but you do nothing on your own. Remember, you are a stream of divine consciousness. And as that, you say, Spirit, how do you see yourself in my life now handling this situation? Spirit, what would you have me say here in this situation? You plan nothing on your own. Everything is done because you are in alignment with your higher self. And it is an effortless life because you are being guided every step of the way. Don't make any decisions, major decisions, minor, don't do anything without consulting your higher self. Because what did Jesus say in the Bible? Of myself, I can do nothing. Because the self that you think you are is a crazy nut bar. It's an insane projection of a mind that believes it's separate from God. So do nothing without God. Do nothing without consulting your higher self. Okay? And this is like, you'll get to a point in your life, of course, when you're self-realized, you're like the flute of Krishna. The music plays through you. You didn't have to tell the music that you want D sharp or B flat. You're just like, use me. And the stream of everything comes through you because you're saying, here I am, God. I'm available to you. I am a space today where you can manifest the fullness of everything that you are in me, as me, for me, through me, whatever, for the good of the sonship. Right? So it's really wonderful. You operate from the belief that you must protect yourself from what is happening because it must contain what threatens you. You think the world is the threat. The government, the bombs, Ukraine, the war, the this, the this, the that, the everything. You think that this is everything that threatens you. And we are being told, no, what threatens you is the beliefs, the concepts, the guilt, the unforgiveness, and all the stuff in your consciousness that you have overlaid, your divine consciousness, and you have overlaid it with all the stinking thinking. That's what you're afraid of. And then you look out and it looks like all the things you look at. All right? So now I have to protect myself from what is happening because it must contain what threatens me. And there are so many stories of, you're so aligned with everything God, and a tornado comes ripping through your town. And because you are in a house that is surrounded by divine grace, you are surrounded in love and light. Nothing touches you. Your house didn't get down. How does that happen? How does that happen? Do you ever think about that? I remember seeing pictures of tornadoes or hurricanes, and then you see 3 houses standing, and the mortal mind would say, well, that's because the wind shifted and all this, but really, everything in the world you see is a projection of what is in your mind. All right. Jesus tells us in the Course that the world was made as an attack on God. The world was made as an attack on God. Yeah. Because the ego is the word. Another word for ego is world. Another name for word for body is world and ego. And that was made as an attack on God. It's like, I want autonomy. I want to be myself. I want to be over here, and you have nothing to do with me, God. I'm it. So the world was made as an attack on God. And you can actually see that in the world today, that it's looking pretty godless. And the attack is on God. It's crazy. A sense of threat is an acknowledgement of an inherent weakness. And we are told by the master You are not weak, but strong. You are not powerless, but all powerful. You are not sick, but healthy. You are not poor, but rich, because you are everything that I am. So a sense of threat, if you feel threatened, what you're actually saying is, oh my God, I'm weak. I'm weak. Which would mean that you're not in alignment with your divine consciousness. You are outside of God. You can only be weak outside of God. God is the power. When you stand as everything God is, you are all powerful. And anything that shows up, you're awake and you say, get thee hence, go away, get behind me. I am everything that God is. You cannot come near me because I am everything that God is. You're not even saying it. You're just showing up as that. You are demonstrating that God is the only power that is operating in you, as you, through you. Okay, so if you are, as it says here, if a sense of threat, if you feel threatened, what you're actually saying is, oh, I don't know who I am. I'm weak. I am insignificant. I am a nothing and a nobody. Oh my God, you're over there in the illusion. It's a belief that there is danger which has power to call on you to make appropriate defense. So the effect, you're giving the power to the effect. And effects have no power unless you say so. The world is based on this insane belief. There's only one power, not two. And all its structures, all its thoughts and doubts, its penalties and heavy armaments, its legal definitions, all its codes, its ethics, its leaders, and its gods all serve but to preserve a sense of threat. The ego's plan is that you stay in fear. The ego's plan is that you stay sick. The ego's plan is that you stay broke. The ego's plan is that you stay insane and never wake up and know that you could choose again. The ego is a monster. It is a gremlin. And at the end of the day, the ego doesn't exist. It exists because you don't want to see your own darkness. You've projected it out. And now you feel that you are under the spell of effects. They have no power. God is the only power. For no one walks the world in armature, but must have terror striking at his heart. I mean, you just look at the movies, right? And you see the Vikings. How about that one? They all have like this heavy armor on. Of course they do. They feel threatened. And that's what you do when you're not in line with God and you haven't, taken out the plank from your own eye. You projected it out, and now you got your armor on, your sword and your shield, and you're walking around the world afraid of everything. The world was meant to be a place where God could enter not. We don't want God over here. Why would you want God in a world where you get to be afraid in and think that you're happy? You're not happy in that world. This is not a happy world. This is a world where you're protecting yourself against all these perceived fears. So the world was made to keep God out. And you can see it even more now. And if you're dancing in that world, okay? And this world was made to distract you to the point where it would always keep you apart from God. You are so distracted in this world that you are always apart from God. And think of it now, especially with our devices, phones, computers, laptops. I mean, you name it, all and scrolling and this and Google, and it's information everywhere and people distracted and this world was made to keep you apart from God. And this is why I said the other day at Soul Astrology, Ascending Soul Astrology, you have to protect your mental health. You just have to. Because this new age that is upon us is governed by Uranus. And Uranus is a planet that is very erratic. It is very electrifying. And it brings sudden change. And it can make you feel crazy. It can make you feel crazy. Make you feel crazy. It will show you how crazy you are if you're not aligned with the Spirit of God. So we have to manage, take care of your energy around your mental health, your spiritual health, your physical health. Get rid of the toxins, dump the metals, get clean diet, clean it up. Because the energy that's coming in this physical world is so powerful, so potent. It's this Mother Earth making her ascension, as I was saying. It's rising to the highest level. The last planet in the solar system to become a sacred planet. And you are too. You are ascending soul. And so you have to have the wiring to hold that frequency. If you don't, it's going to be harder and harder, and you're going to feel crazy and lost. And do you notice the mental state of a lot of people these days? The mental state of people is not good. A lot. I talk to people all the time, and I can see that their mental state isn't good. So there's a lot going on. But if I'm aligned as a divine stream of consciousness, which is the truth of my being, if I'm aligned as that, then I am in the world and not of the world. So, all right. Defense is frightening. It really is. If you've got a sword and a shield, if you've got armor on, like you sleep with one eye open. You're always afraid that someone's going to get you. And what you're really afraid of are the defilements in your own mind. You're afraid of the guilt that you're holding. Remember that sediment in that bottle of water, there's dirt and stones, there's debris down there, and someone shows up and it shakes up the mud. And instead of you getting rid of it, you put armor on and you defend against it. And then that muck settles back down in that bottle of water, and you walk around and you have all of this fear, all of this unconscious everything down there in the bottom of your consciousness. And so now, in order to protect yourself or defend yourself from attack, you don't want that stirred up. But that's what's brewing. And that is the source of all illness, the guilt in the mind. Whether it's physical illness, psychological illness, whatever you're facing, whatever discomfort, it's guilt in the mind. And someone's going to show up and mirror that guilt. All right, so defense is frightening. It stems from fear, unconscious fear or conscious fear, and increasing fear as each defense is made. So every time you walk around with your armor on, that fear increases. The fear just gets worse and worse. Ask yourself, what am I afraid of in my life? What do I fear more than anything? And the more you entertain that fear, the bigger that fear gets, because what you focus on expands. That's just the law of the universe. And so, oh my goodness, you think it offers safety. Defense offers safety. No, it makes you more vulnerable. What you're actually saying when you hold your shield and sword, you're going, I'm vulnerable. Oh gosh, I need to protect myself because I'm a vulnerable son of God instead of invulnerable. You think this armor offers you safety, yet it speaks of fear made real. Remember, the ego establishes that fear, guilt, punishment, all of that is real. That's the first thing it does with you. And so every time you defend, you are making real. You think it offers safety, yet it speaks of fear made real and terror justified. And so when you attack somebody, you feel like they deserve it. I'm justified in doing that because they said they did. They didn't do anything except mirror what's in your consciousness. Gratitude is the only thing I need to give my brother because they showed me what I'm holding as guilt in the muck in my consciousness. Okay. All you keep doing is projecting that guilt. All right. So now, is it not strange you do not pause to ask, as you elaborate your plans and make your armor thicker? You got to come up with ways to keep that person out of your life. And again, I've said this before over the years. Is there anybody in your life that if you ran into them in the mall or on the street that you would go the other way? That lets you know what's in the mud. And then you defend it. You have to protect yourself, so you cross the street and turn backwards and hope they don't see you. That's a dead giveaway. Dead giveaway. We all have one or two. Oh yeah, they're all there. Look at everybody smiling. Right? Okay. Oh, guys, we are mistaken about our identity. The only problem we have is body identification. So you are mistaken about your identity. You are everything that God made. You are a stream of divine consciousness. You are a sunbeam to the sun. You are an emanation of everything God. And as that, you are invulnerable. But when you decide to protect the guilt in the unconscious, okay, when you decide, remember, everything is a choice I must make. Love is a choice I must make. So if I'm not choosing love, if I was choosing love, I'd let it all come up and say, show me who I am. I want to see the darkness in me because I don't want cancer. I want to see the darkness in me because I don't want to be broke. I want to see the darkness in me because I don't want to be stressed. I want to see the darkness in me. Show it to me. Show it to me. I am ready to take the beam out of my own eye. All of this unconscious guilt that's deep in that mud. Shake up the bottle. Let all the sediment come up. Oh. Ooh, that's big. But if you walk with God, if you walk with the Spirit in you and you stand as the image and likeness of God and you are everything that God said you are, omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient, then you are all powerful. And nothing can have power over you because there's one power, the power of God, omnipotence. And you are the Son of the Beloved. All right. So let us consider first what you defend. Have you ever thought about that? Well, what do I defend? What do I defend? I think the greatest gift you give yourself is to laugh at yourself and defend nothing. Oh, that's funny. And then inside, maybe it really wasn't so funny, but at the end of the day, you sit with it and go, why did that give me a weird in my gut when they said that? Let me look at that with Jesus. With the Spirit, with Kuan Yin, with Buddha, with Baba. Let me look at that, right? So let's consider what you first defend. It must be something that's very weak. Of course it is. If you're defending an effect, it's weak. It's a nothing. It's created out of nothing, made out of nothingness. So it's weak. It has no power. You make it become powerful because you believe it's true, right? But in and of itself, if you are defending something, Jesus says it must be something that is very weak and easily assaulted. Yeah, it is. If you're not aligned with all-powerful God, then you are weak. You have put yourself in the world of nothingness and you're standing in that world saying, I'm weak, come and get me. And lightning comes and you're dead. I mean, that's really what goes on. You stand in the world of nothingness and you're claiming, I am not strong, but weak. Jesus didn't say that in the Bible. Jesus said, you are not weak, but strong. But you're standing over here saying, I am not strong, I'm weak. That's why you suffer. It must be something made easy prey. Yeah, you're protecting your little, idiosyncrasies, the parts of you that you got to defend that you had a bad childhood. You have to defend that your daddy was an alcoholic and beat you. You have to defend that this and that and everything else. Because the ego has established in the separated mind that you are guilty, you deserve punishment, you are a sinner, you are weak, you are broke, you are sick, This is who you are. And then it gets to have fun with you as you go around the world trying to find things to fix an effect that doesn't exist, right? The effect doesn't exist, and neither does the thing that you try to find to fix it. Unless you root it out, it's never going to go away. All right, so then it says, unable to protect itself and needing your defense. What but the body has such frailty that constant care and watchful, deep concern are needful to protect its little life? Body identification is the only problem you have. Now, Jesus doesn't tell us, Baba didn't tell us, get rid of your body. The masters say your body is a moving temple for the spirit to live and move and have its being within. Your body is a communication device. Your eyes are meant to be used to see the beauty in the world of phenomena. Your words are meant to be spoken to uplift and inspire and change the frequency of everything around you. But when your body identified, now you are defending, you are protecting, you are in a space of seeking and never finding, and you are using your body in a wrong way. And when you are in wrong-mindedness, you use your body in a wrong way. The body becomes the focus. And now you find yourself in all kinds of conversations about how sick you are, how fat you are, how skinny you are, how much you eat, how much you don't eat, how much they paid for that, how much you need to pay for this, and out of fear. Fear. That is the world of fear. So then it says, what but the body falters and must fail to serve the Son of God as worthy host? When I'm identified as the image and likeness of God, when I'm identified as a stream of divine consciousness, when I am identified as an emanation of everything that God is, I am a sunbeam to the sun. My body is used in a different way. My body is also my five senses, right? My eyes, my ears, my hands, my ears are used to go to the core of my being so I can listen for divine guidance, for divine instruction. And my body is automatically protected because I'm under the law of grace, not under the law of cause and effect, because I now know that there is only one power, and that power is of God, omnipotence. Woo! Doesn't that make you feel a little high? It feels wonderful. All right. So then, yet it is not the body that can fear. Now, have you ever seen a corpse in a coffin that's afraid? Have you ever seen a dead person full of fear? Nope. Right? You go up to the casket and you're like, oh my God, that person's full of fear. What happened? No, because Jesus says the body cannot fear. It is not the body that can fear, and nor is it a thing of fear. What is animating the body to look afraid is your consciousness. Your consciousness. If your state of consciousness is, I'm afraid of everything, I'm broke, I don't have, your body goes, okay, let's act poor. I don't have money. Okay, let's make sure you don't have money to buy your new dress. I'm sick. Oh, okay, let's get a headache. I will prove you right. Because a corpse in a coffin lays there, it's dead. The body is dead. Right? It becomes what I think. It does what I think. It's my master. My master is my consciousness, and then my body follows. Here's the next line. The master tells us, the body has no needs, but those which you assign to it. Okay, so we have a lot of needs, right? People go, you want to travel with me on a trip to somewhere? You may not eat for 8 hours, but if your body identified, that's going to be a problem. And I'm not saying you can't eat. If you have to have food, throw something in your purse. Do you know what I'm saying? But you have assigned the rules to your body. Everything that your body does, it's dead. In and of itself, it's just a bag of bones, flesh, organs, whatever. And your mind tells the body what to do because the body is in the mind. The mind is not in the body. Okay, so it has no needs, but those you assign to it. A corpse in a casket has no needs, just lays there. But if the spirit blew breath into its nostrils, it would come to life. And it would start to do what it's thinking. It would start to animate what's in its consciousness from a past life. That's why when you die, you lay the body down and you take your astral body, which are all those, the bottom 4 chakras, you take them to the next world and we assess the defilements, right, that you've overlaid on the divine consciousness. We look at all those things and then, okay, that's what's going to animate your next body. The consciousness that you bring with you into the next incarnation, your next incarnation, whatever's in your consciousness, that is what's going to animate your body. Because that's what you still haven't forgiven. You haven't pulled it out, right? So the body has no needs, only that which you assign to it. So ask yourself, you blame your body. A lot of people get sick, and our next lesson is, sickness is an attack. It's another attack. It's a defense against truth. So ask yourself, what's going on with my body? In terms of my health, in terms of my psychological health, in terms of my, being able to have survive, my clothes, my food, and what do I think when I go to a grocery store? Am I filling up my cart till it looks like Mount Vesuvius because I think we're going to spin off the planet? Do I have all these issues going on? What's going on? And you think your body's on automatic pilot. No, the consciousness that you are is animating the body, and it's doing what you say based on your concepts, beliefs, judgments, thoughts. It's all in you. Bam. You may not be aware of it because it's in the unconscious, like the sediment in the bottle of water. And you're just operating on autopilot. And then you're mad at your body because it gets sick. A lot of people, when they get sick, they're mad at their body. Bad body. You're sick. How could you dare? People say, my body betrayed me. No, you betrayed God, and the body showed you that. When you really get it, it's kind of funny. So the body is showing betrayal. When I'm aligned with divine consciousness, then I am the outpicturing of perfect health. And so when I'm sick, and we use sickness because it's the most common thing. When I'm sick, my body is trying to get my attention. My body is saying, hey, this is how I'm going to be because this is what you thought into existence. This is what you believed into existence. And so I will show you, I will demonstrate through the sickness or whatever, what you are really thinking, what you are really believing. Because once you know that you are a stream of divine consciousness and that you are the emanation and the fullness of everything God is, then you demonstrate that. You demonstrate that. And by their fruits you shall know them. They're not telling you what they believe. They are demonstrating belief. Jesus demonstrated. He didn't preach. He demonstrated what he believed. And what did he believe? I and the Father are one. What else did he believe? I am a stream of divine consciousness. And that's all I am. What else did he believe? I am the omniscience, omnipotence, and omnipresence of everything God, right here, right now. And when you see me, you see the Father. Why? Because there's no distinction between me and the Father. I and my Father are one. So our role on this planet is to demonstrate what it looks like to be in alignment with everything that God says you are. You are my beloved, in whom I am well pleased. God is quite pleased with himself because he created himself out of himself. And it looks like you. How sweet is that? All right. It needs no complicated structures of defense. What? The body. The body needs no complicated structures of defense. Because the body in and of itself is a corpse. It's your mind. It's your consciousness. The body does not need health-inducing medicine because the body is dead. It's like this. It doesn't need any of that. It's your consciousness that needs to be healed. No care and no concern at all. If I am a space for the manifestation of the fullness of everything God, if I am that space, then the fullness of God will fill me from head to toe. Health, happiness, joy, peace, abundance, everything good God will be who I am. And if I'm not a space for that, then I am serving the wrong master. And I am listening to the voice of the ego. And I'm making it real as it wants me to, because I don't want to see the sediment in my consciousness. All right. So then it says, defend its life, or give it gifts to make it beautiful, or walls to make it safe. And you but say your home is open to the thief of time, corruptible and crumbling, so unsafe it must be guarded with your very own life. So body identification is the problem. Once you get out of that, it's like you say, I don't care what my body's showing me. I am everything that God said I am. I am a stream of divine consciousness. I am the outpicturing of everything that God is. God is the power. God is the only power. And I am standing in this space of God's power, regardless of what these effects look like right now. And as I do that, I give no energy at all to the world of cause and effect. And I come under the law of divine grace. And I walk and I talk and I speak and move and have my being in divine grace. And that divine grace fills every particle of my being. Whew. And as that, I can command, as the son of my Father, I can command this beauteous everything God to guide me, to protect me, to care for me, to do. I can command the Spirit. I can say, I command that there be nothing but health. I command that there be nothing but joy. I command that there be, and everything else has to fall away because you're claiming truth. That is so amazing. That is just so beautiful. That's how powerful we are. Okay, so is not this picture fearful? Can you be at peace with such a concept of your home? Because once you're at one with all-powerful, mighty God, then this is a moving temple. And you don't have to worry what to eat. You don't have to worry what to say. You don't have to worry where to go. Everything is handled. Absolutely everything. Okay. Thus is the body made a theory of yourself, with no provisions made for evidence beyond itself, and no escape within its sight. It grows and withers, flourishes and dies, and you cannot conceive of you apart from it. So you think you are the body. You have no idea that the body is in your mind and you are animating it by how you think and believe. In this world of cause and effect, you can't see yourself apart from the body as the person that's making the body do what it does. Your specialness whispers. That's that special I. The I. The self that you think you are. That's fear-based. And you don't even know that you're fear-based. You just think it's normal because everybody else is fear-based, right? All right. So your little specialness whispers, "Here is my own beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased." That's the special I saying that. Okay? Thus does the Son become the means to serve his Father's purpose. Such is the travesty on God's creation. For as his Son's creation gave him joy and witnessed to his love and shared his purpose, so does the body testify to the idea that made it. Remember, ideas leave not their source. What are you thinking? What you're thinking is what you're seeing. What you're thinking is who you're being. And you didn't come here to heal. You came here to reveal truth. God is the only power. All right. For as his Son's creation gave him joy and witnessed to his love and shared his purpose, so does the body testify to the idea that made it and speak for its reality and truth. Yet what endowed the body with the right to serve you thus, except your own belief? So this is, again, like looking at our belief system is so important. You have to look at, what do I believe? And you can't turn it into just words. It just can't be words. It has to be a sit down with a book, with the practice, and say, what do I believe? And if you don't know what you believe, look at what's showing up in terms of health, in terms of your profession or career, whatever it is, in terms of your partnerships, your marriage, in terms of your wealth and your money, in terms of everything, your spirituality, in terms of, friendships. And really take a look and say, wow, if this isn't showing up as joy and peace and happiness and we're not connecting here, then I must be believing something that's making this up. I must be believing something. But until you look at your beliefs and really undo them, they stay in the sediment of your consciousness. And you think that you're cool because you're floating around in the clear water. And then someone shows up, rocks your world, loosens the sediment, and you push it back down because you don't want to look at it. You don't want to own it. And it's because you've been looking at it, maybe, when it does come up, without a higher power. But when you decide to look at this with a higher power, and a lot of times in a recovery program, we make an inventory, a moral and clear inventory of everything that's gone on in your consciousness, and that person holds space for you. They're there for you to help you, right? The same thing with the spirit. If you look at whatever it is with the spirit, with the higher power, then it's different than looking at it with yourself, because the self that you think you are is the ego's, it's crazy. It'll twist it. So, all right. Where were we here? Oh, so this one comes from chapter 27. Some things I wrote down, some things I didn't. The ones I did, I'll let you know. All right. So it takes the body takes the central place in every dream. So when your body identified, it takes a central place in every dream, which tells the story of how it was made by other bodies. So other bodies show up to agree with you. They either are perpetrators or victims. You're a victim or you're a perpetrator. The world's going to mirror what you're holding. Born into the world outside the body, lives a little while and dies, to be united in the dust and with other bodies dying like itself. You're already dead. You're already dead if you are entertaining insane thoughts and beliefs. You're already dead if you're not choosing to look at the source of your sickness, if you're not willing to look at the source, what you're holding in your consciousness that's making you be in a space of lack. Like, that's what that's saying, okay? You do not leave insanity by going somewhere else. You leave it simply by accepting reason where madness was. So this is the mad world, the insane world. This is the sane world. I am everything that God said. The body will be strong and healthy if the mind does not abuse it Are you abusing your mind? Abusing your body by using your mind to attack it? Okay. I think I did that 2 years ago when I got chikungunya. I still hate mosquitoes. Why did I get bit by a chikungunya mosquito? Not only a chikungunya, it was a what?
Dengue.
A dengue. It was both in my, it was a 2-for-1 special. Dengue and chikungunya. Chico dengue. Good one, Jane. All right. So the body will be strong and healthy if the mind does not abuse it by assigning it to roles it cannot fill, to purposes beyond its scope, and to exalted aims which it cannot accomplish. The body is a no thing. When you are over in the world of dreams and scarcity and lack and ego, the body is simply dead. When you use it to serve the highest good of all, the body is a communication device. Such attempts, ridiculous yet deeply cherished, are the sources for the many mad attacks you make upon it. You haven't forgiven your consciousness. You haven't given forth the beams that are in your own eye. And so you took it out on your body. For it seems to fail your hopes, your needs, your values, and your dreams. If you use the body for attack, it will be harmful to you. If you use it only to reach the minds of those who believe they are bodies, and teach them, though the body, that this is not so, you will understand the power of the mind that is in you. Your thoughts are so freaking powerful. They make the world you live in. They make the body you find yourself in. Remember, Baba said, as I told you in the beginning of this, Baba reminded me, God is omniscient. And if you say that you are the image and likeness of God, that you are made out of this divine consciousness, and that you are an idea in the mind of God, and ideas leave not their source, then the only power that you have in you is God. That's the only power. And if you entertain body consciousness, if you allow the ego to dictate to you what it is, to make sure that you are a guilty sinner seeking for punishment in the world of illusions, then that also becomes a problem. And it's the power of your mind that's doing it. Okay? So that's what we're being told here. If you use the body for this and only this, you cannot use it for attack. The Holy Spirit does not see the body as you do, thank goodness, because she knows the only reality of anything is the service it renders God on behalf of the function he gave it. God gave you this body so it could see itself in the world of phenomena. God gave you this body to be able to move around and see the beauty and uphold the glory that God is. That's why you have a body. The body is beautiful or ugly, peaceful or savage, helpful or harmful, according to the use to which it is put. According to the teacher that you're listening to. If you listen to the ego, your body is used to attack and defend. And if you listen to the voice of the Holy Spirit, your body is a moving temple by which to have an experience of joy and peace and love and glory, and to see the goodness. And in the end, when the end of the, Jesus said, I will love you even until the end of the world. And that really there's many different levels of meaning here, but one of the main levels to this meaning is, I will love you even until the end of your stinking thinking. I will love you even until the end of your body identification. I will love you. I will love you. Right? And we could say, if we're using ascending soul astrology, I will love you even until the end of an age, which is the end of Pisces. We will be moving into the age of Aquarius. I am the water bearer. You pour the waters of creation in your own life. So this is such a really powerful lesson. And again, because, you know, this is A Course in Miracles and More, I've added on a lot. So we've come to the end of our session in 3 minutes, and we will continue on with this. Is cause and effect of the ego only, or is cause and effect related to our divine self as well? Oh, that's an awesome question. Okay, cause, as we know, first cause is how you think. Okay, so when you think with the ego, then the effect is ego effects. When you think with God, then the result is spirit. So in truth, you could say cause and effect, depending on what master or what teacher you're listening to. But in the end, there are no effects. There's just divine love, divine grace, and you are the embodiment of that. You are in truth. Because the Course in Miracles, in one of the lessons, it says that, you know, the only true cause and effect there is that you are the Son of your Father. God is the cause, and the Son, the Christ, is the effect. That is the only cause and effect there is. Okay? So when I know that, then I am the effect of my Father. And what does that look like? I am a divine emanation of pure love consciousness. My Father and I are one. So, but you could break it down, Sue, and say cause and effect, but it comes to a point where you're just going to move around and be the embodiment of love, and that you are the Christ consciousness in action. There's nothing else. So that's a great question. Yeah. So anyway, all right, guys, that brings us to the end of our session. And just want to make an announcement that we are holding a women's retreat here in Malaysia, and that will be on April 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And I'm looking forward to that. So I know I had a few of you write in and say, when is that? Because I had announced it at the New Year retreat that I would be holding a retreat for women. And this will be coming up the 1st of April. And we're going to be looking at the 3 Marys and the role that they played in the ascension and the resurrection. So it's going to be really good, and we'll apply that to our life and much more. Hi there, Viv. Good to see you. Yeah. So that'll be coming up. Mark your calendars. And I don't know, Jamie was talking, I don't know if this is possible, but Jamie was saying that maybe we could record it. We'll see how that goes. Depends, you know, we'll see, because then I could make it available as well. Yeah. But anyway, love you all so much. Sending you all that love. JC, enjoy today's Chop Gourmet, right? Yeah. So does this mean that all the heavenly beings go back to heaven? Is that what this is about? Like they've been down on the earth during the Lunar New Year, and on Chop Gourmet, they all go back into the heavens? You don't know? Oh, we need our Dr. Aaron. He always knew. I think that's what it's about. If anybody out there knows, you can let me know next week. But I remember Aaron saying that symbolically it represented that during the Lunar New Year, the heavenly beings were on Earth, and then on Chop Gourmet, on the full moon night, they all they go back into their abodes. So anyway, alrighty, enjoy the full moon. Hi, Randy. Yeah, it is a beautiful full moon. Remember, it's Leo. Be the leader. Let spirit lead. Be the fullest creative expression of everything that God is. Have a super day and an awesome week ahead. Million hugs and kisses. Mwah, lots of love. See you next Sunday. Okay, bye.